Yes, software. I need to get my feet off the furniture. Get your feet off the furniture, Marjo. Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Hilk empath. I'm a Hilka. Hilka, hey, Hilka, hey. Empath, and I just like having these little talks and the way I feel about things. My energy's shifted. It is much better than it was yesterday. Yesterday was brutal. See, I got Aries sun, exalted. and well, what happened yesterday? Mars went direct from being indirect since I think the 10th or something like that. Anyway, so we shifted back, and it shifted hard, and it rubbed my gears the wrong way. Today is a new day. We got more hope. I talked to a real sweet woman today. Her name, Lindy. She's like, yeah, all day long I have to tell people my name isn't Linda or Cindy. It's Lindy. And she's such a dear woman. She was on one of those veteran hotlines that I always get emails for. There's a segment of the VA, and for people for veterans that are homeless or potentially homeless. So I gave them a call to see maybe what some resources that they might have to offer me. That dear woman, man, she's just a dear, sweet woman, and thank her. She's the people that we need to thank for their service, because they're the lifelines to us veterans that don't know where to go or don't know what to do. And she shared a little bit of her story with me and her trials and tribulations in life, and God bless her, because that's the thing is you get people that have never gone through anything in their life except maybe, their grandparent died or something like that, but nothing ever that big of a deal, and then they get put in positions where they're supposed to be of service to help people that have been, in harm's way for a very long time, and since they can't meet that person in the heart space, they really don't care as much as somebody that's been through trials and tribulations in life. They don't. And they're just doing what they're paid to do, and a lot of people don't. When I was in the service industry, it was much different. It was like people really wanted to help people, and they don't want to do that no more, because they're all fearful and small inside. And when people feel fearful and small, they don't want to put much forth their effort out to anything else, because gosh darn it, they don't get it, right? So after speaking with her, I got the White House number for veterans, and I'm gonna give them a call Monday. And then I got a number for caregiver support. I'm gonna give them a call Monday. And what was the last one? There's one for women VA veteran, and I'll give them a call on Monday. But she put a referral out to me, so I should be getting a call back. How you doing today, Ma? You doing a little bit better than yesterday? Ma and I just went out for a walk. It occurred to me that today is the Tucker's observance of Tucker's birthday, and we're gonna go out in the dog yard. That they all started getting too rowdy, and I didn't want to make too much noise, so we just went in the back field and walked around a little bit. It's kind of windy today. It's a little chilly. But there's a new energy, I'm seeing all the stuff online, because today's the 14th, and every time there's moon stuff, full moon, new moon, the people that believe in esoteric things, they're out there freaking supporting their side. They're rallying for their side, whether it's, and it's all subjective, what is good and evil, because it's all it's all based on the person's frame of reference, whatever team that they're rallying for. And there's big rallies. I saw some dudes I got about 2 minutes into his talk. I couldn't hear past his ego. He was too staticky. Some Demetria guy, some guy that has been studying it for 7 years, when people have been freaking whatever, hundreds, whatever, but whatever, but he was talking about, like, I don't know, the title of his talk was, I don't even know, it don't even matter to me. It's just that they're perpetuating the Luciferi tale theater, and 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 it's prevalent today. And I was on Good Dog in the chat, and I said something about astrology, and somebody was like, it's astrology is like demonic or something. Like, I'm like, what an ignorant statement. It's the first and original true science is what astrology. At one point, all the doctors had to know astrology. You know, it's so what people are just. And I gotta remember, I gotta keep looking at the light in people, because that's what's I'm trying to project from me. Because too many people are just freaking projecting spiteful stuff, and when you spit evil, or when you spit wicked, you're gonna reflect wicked back, and that's one of the hardest life lessons I ever had to learn. Because I always been in man groups, where you had to hold your own, fend for yourself, and if you were a little bitch, you weren't gonna make it very far. You had to have thick skin and stuff like that. And now everybody's like curled up in the fetal position and just wants to freaking lay there and wait. I see that they're freaking perpetuating the ideology of the new wave, the next wave. No. Another wonderful, funny thing that Lindy said today is that she just had a review, and like they ask, like they had like a survey of like 2,500 veterans and how many of them have had the Rona, and out of 2,500, I think it was like 2. I guessed 4, but she said 2. See, that's the thing is once they instill the fear, once they just put out the vibration of fear into society, then that vibration is going to riddle across and do its own damage, unrelated to the spamdemic that has been shoved down everybody's throat. So the medical field can make a lot more money when it takes everybody's money anyway. And most people, I've seen stories about women a woman got hit by a train and she's like, "Dear God, don't call the ambulance because I can't afford the copay." And her leg was like mangled, like severely lacerated and burned and pinched and stuff like that. It was nasty. I don't think it broke bones or anything, but because that's the thing is most people, I don't know how many different versions of the earth people are living on, but you have these bureaucrats, these politicians that are having an entirely different, wonderful experience than everyone else. I know that. My brother is one. And I am the only stressor in his life, and I removed him of that burden yesterday. But it's funny because he don't look like I'm the only stressor in his life. He looks like he has a lot more stressors. But then again, at the same time, when people's blessings spoil them, they have the propensity to turn to gluttons, and then tell them, "Oh, I work really hard all day, so this is how I'm going to reward myself." See, I reward myself by going for walks with Mom out in the field. Huh? Yeah. We like those walks, huh, Ma? That's how I reward myself, and I was so happy to see Brady choosing healthier lifestyles. And I got a comment from someone that on my hardest days, these comments just really hit home and make me feel good. And yesterday I got one from a gal that doesn't like walking, but she's been walking and choosing healthier alternatives to life, and she's feeling better. And that's all I want people to do is if you get out there and get moving, you won't, if you're in a hard way or a sad way or depressed, all you got to do is get your blood going, and that energy will shift. It'll shift. I call it getting, and a lot of other people call it, it's just not my terminology, getting out of your head, or go do something for somebody else, draw a pit, there's people all over the places that are all over the place that's lonely, they're all lonely, just grab someone for a visit. And the world ain't gonna open back up again until people start acting like they live in an open, free world. You know, there's so many people that feel the constraints that they put on themselves. I can't do this and this and this. You know, my brother said I was so stubborn that I'm going to be homeless because I won't give up my mom and my dogs. And I'm like, is it stubborn or is that just darn right determination and loyalty? And why can't we look at it as that? You know, people could, there's so many synonyms out there of just different ways to look at things. You can put a negative twist on something or you can put a positive twist on something. And, you know, I like to keep it balanced. even if I say something that I feel like is negative, I like to end it up on a good note, you know. I wonder what the rest of the world would be if they came from that kind of heart space, you know. If they're just putting so much negativity out there, so much. Where's the positive? People are just expecting the positive to come to them because they're good gosh darn people. And that's in some groups that's been known as resting on your laurels, doing something yesterday that's going to make you in good standing today. You know, no, you got to do something today to put you in good standing for today. Right? Yeah. So I was really excited to see Brady from Divided We Fall. Not Divided. Yeah. Divided We Fall. That he quit smoking. That's rad. I quit back in 2010. I was ready for about a year. It wasn't fun anymore. It's like the last thing I remember. I remember it was like one of my favorite things in the world would be like a cigarette and a cup of coffee. And now I don't even drink coffee anymore. Hardly. I will occasionally. I got some like coconut flavored or something in there, but see, the thing is I like to slow down. I don't like to speed up. And there's a lot of people in society that are so sped up, and they are natural. They aren't naturally sped up. It's not because they're their kundalini life force energy. No, it's not because of that. It's because they're on freaking prescribed amphetamines from their doctor. You know, let's get all this, you know, whatever gets people through the day. But people just do too much because they're imbalanced. And if a little's good, more is better. And they're not. They're putting all these toxins in them to freaking speed. It's just like legalized coke, for as far as I'm concerned. And but you know, business, third quarter earning profits, blah blah blah, stock options, blah blah blah. Oh, what the world could be if people mattered more than money, but they don't. They don't. Hi, G Dog. So. What else? What's going on in the world today? I don't even know what's going on in the world today much. I just like to go news, and then come on, and then I'll go to go.go or whatever, and go news. It's not even gonna load. It's not even gonna load. See, I'm not allowed to. I'm like freaking Mom and I are in our own little dimension right now. I don't even know what's going on in the world, and really, except for what I see on the interwebs. But people often put on airs. They put on airs. They like people to believe that their life is one way, but the reality of their life is in fact entirely different. I see through it all. When I look, I try not to look. I really, really try. I don't really. See, I've seen so much stupid, nasty crap that I don't even want to know what people are up to. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. As soon as I tap into their energy, I'm like, oh, you're one of them. Sometimes I'm like, oh, yeah, you're one of them. That's cool, but not very often. It's mostly, oh, you're one of them. And people tell you who they are. People tell you how ambitious they are. People tell you, they show you, they tell you. They tell you what they represent. They tell you what they're for. They tell you all day long. In little ways, you know. Now I was going to talk about anger a little bit today, and getting past anger. One of the things that I like to do, or that one of the reasons why I do this channel, is because I don't even consider an anger. I just call it really big frustration, really huge frustration, and I don't really like. I don't let people. I mean, I'll let them. Okay, you can tell me about how I am. That's cool, you know. I'll let them. And from where they're sitting, it's probably very, very valid too. You know, um, but there, I know a lot of people. I'm a veteran that have had, you know, and I was listening to a talk about with Timothy on Rasa Lila Healing or whatever today, and I didn't get that much into it, but it was very synchronistic. He was talking about two men. I can't remember their names, but one dude like lived through polio, and I was like, huh, my grandfather on my dad's side lived through polio in like the 30s or something like that, or that when he was a young man he lived through polio too. And then he talked about another guy who was like, I don't know, he said is the father of like new hypnotherapy or something like that, but how many fathers can there be after Edgar Casey, you know? And so whatever. But this man was a veteran, but he had more childhood trauma than he ever did serving in the war. And I was like, oh, well, now you're talking my story, you know? And, and people, if people want to understand, if you really want to truly understand, like, the nervousness of people with post-traumatic stress and things like that, it's because we're always taking in data. We're always on high alert. We're always seeing the possibility of risk and trying to minimize it. Well, not all of us. Some other people that have delved into that frequency and decided to use it for its, I don't know, nefariousness, because people can attract other people with it and use them for their own dastardly deeds and or ideologies or whatever. It's just, that's the thing that kills me, is it is amazing the gross stuff that like one human being can do to another human being. It's amazing to me. And no, she doesn't have to go out because I just took her out. And you were with me. So she just likes to walk around and stretch her little legs, so just let her. Sass. She's a good old girl. So old. So, what was I saying? If people really want to understand it, but that's the thing, is what I'm coming to find out is what we're seeing is some people, you know, there's just this huge imbalance in this world of a certain percentage of the population is having one kind of experience in this world, and that's everything's great. They're getting it, la la la, everything's wonderful. They're born into a great family. Their family loves them. Every year they get to do holidays and do vacations and all this whoop-de-whoop-de fun stuff, and you know, maybe they see in a car accident or something like that, but it ain't nothing that deep, right? But you have all these other people that have had freaking way grosser experience. Well, we are all of the same spirit, God. Whether people recognize it or not, they can deny it. They can, you know, not, you know, whatever. Believe whatever you want to believe, but we are all a mirror on that disco ball reflecting God's source energy, God. And but a lot of people would rather, because you get more benefits from reflecting the lower vibrational frequencies and living in the 3D earth. It's a lot, you get a lot more benefits, a lot more perks. You get instant gratification when you and then when you live in a spiritual way, you get more organic, true rewards, you know, that you don't have to sell your soul for to get. And I was thinking about that yesterday, selling, how people sell their souls. I mean, I'm sure that there's circumstances or they're actually signing contracts with the Lucy Fairy Tale Theater, you know, and then how many, I mean, and the way I look at it is, what are people doing to get what they want? And are they sacrificing their own lives and their own scruples and their own morals to do it? When you're a kid playing on the playground, you know, and someone like wanted you to do something mean or something, you know, would you play along and do it? Well, every time you play along and do it, you're giving up a little bit of your spirit, because everybody's born with a full spirit. That's why babies and kids are so rad, because they are closer to source, because they just came from source. And then I believe that they're the ones that like see in all the frequencies. You know, because when I was a little girl, I saw all the frequencies too, all fairies, all the freaking, you know, magical stuff in the forest and stuff like that. And then when you tell the adult's like, no, that doesn't happen. And then it strips away your belief. It strips away, you know, and either the child just starts to believe that that stuff doesn't happen, or they ignore it and it goes away because they're not willing to receive because when the eyes want to see, the people will, you know. So anyway, so what have people done? You know, what have people done? What have people done to replace their spirit? I did it. I worked at big companies. I had, you know, a paycheck, but I freaking was miserable. I was in the relationship. But I was miserable. I was almost 200 pounds. So, I'm just trying to, okay, I'm trying to focus here, and I'm having a hard time because of what's happening over here. Just gotta allow for stuff. What else? So what are people doing? And they're starting to see, because the astrology is making them see, oh, I haven't been living in my spirit. I've been living in my ego. And everybody has a chance to come back to spirit from ego, but they just haven't taken it. And I see it. I see the Brats, the fearful little bitches. Newsom is just and freaking that chick in Oregon, man. I'm so glad I fled from Oregon, man. They want to shut everything down, you know. It's just they're control freaks, and they're shorting out, and they're starting to realize that the gig is up, and people are going to start figuring it out, and they're going to start coming back and saying, no, we're not going to do this no more because it's horse shit. Yeah, see, I was always that kid that didn't do stuff just because people told me to, unless there was a viable reason. I was never that person that just went along. I was always questioning everything. That's why I'm in the place that I'm in, because I've always called bullshit, and I've never played along, because I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and I never let that go. I always retained that fact. I always maintained it. And most people live just for being a person, because they're just a human being. They're just a being, just a human being, just trying to get by in life. And what do you do? Squander, withhold, hinder, you know, all that freaking, what are those 7 sins that they talk about in the Bible? Whoa, look at all the profiteer, look at all the profits that are happening from people living just in those 7 sins. Gucci, Gucci, get your Gucci. Gucci's for hoochies. It's just all disgusting. People that want stuff just because it's expensive, and then they put it on, and then they, oh, look, you're still cheap, because there's no spirit in any of that. There's no spirit in any of that. All that award stuff, all that stuff that is dying away. There's no spirit in it. Hollywood, dying. It's funny that certain networks, you know, still get to make their shows. They're still putting out new products, you know. Raise it, the big ones. But people aren't even watching anymore, because they don't care. Because there's so many people that are freaking don't even have their basic needs. You know, the world ain't what it was a year ago. It's an entirely different earth. And people are having the choice every single year to come more into spirit, and they don't. And have you noticed, the more people don't come into spirit, the worse seemingly the world is getting. Yeah. Is everything great? Is everybody living free? America ain't a free country. No, it's not. We have less and less freedoms all the time, and I think it's cute that people celebrate, you know, the fact that women have been able to vote for 50 years now. Well, that's really fucking funny, considering the country's been around for 250. You know, it's that whole control thing, that whole patriarchy, all that do as I say, not as I do, all that stuff, man. The liars and the cheats have won. they've been winning, even in the churches. How come there's not more talk about all the freaking nastiness in the church? Because people want to believe what they want to believe. And how many freaking... are people donating money to churches because they, you know, want to support the church, or is it all hush money? I think at this point it's all hush money. Because there's so much gross stuff. So much gross stuff. And it's funny, my stream just went to excellent after being poor for a while. It's my internets are just, hey, if you vibe high and your message is supposed to get out, it's going to get out. And if you're vibing low, or you're vibing from a place that isn't, if you're just in it to win it and make money, but not trying to educate people and stuff like that, your shit's going to go, everything is divine, man. Everything is divine. So I see a lot of people having, that got demonetized and stuff like that. And the only one that I'm kind of biased. I love Kijin. All right, I'll wrap it up. I already know where this is headed, so I'm just gonna head there myself. This is the stuff that you just gotta allow. You just have to allow. La la la, and that's